You have a reputation nationwide for the progress and innovation you've brought to Wisconsin in terms of not just motivating voters, but getting the wins. I've spoken to other state chairs and they all point to Wisconsin and they say that's the way it should be done. For the viewers that I have that are not familiar with Wisconsin, to call some of the last few races close is an understatement. We are talking near photo finishes here. Can you replay some of the final tallies in elections between, say, 2016 and 2020?
Very happy to do that. So in 2016, Trump beat Hillary Clinton by just over 23,000 votes. It was I think, 0.7% margin of victory in a statewide. It was the tipping point state. So it was actually the state that put Trump over the top. Very painful. And fast forward to 2020, I spent the whole year telling people Wisconsin is the land of the nail biter. At that time, 3 out of the previous 5 presidential elections had come down to less than 1 percentage point. And there were these national polls that showed Democrats way ahead. We were supposed to win by 5, 7, 11. One poll said we were 17 points up. None of us believed a word of it in Wisconsin, because although there was huge enthusiasm and energy on our side, we could also see a ton of energy on the Republican side, voters coming out of the woodwork, people registering in areas where registration numbers had never been so high. So we fought all the way to the end. And sure enough, once again, 0.6 percentage point margin. We won by 20,682 votes after the recount. And that's the way it is. Elections here come down to a hair's breadth. A single gust of wind can affect the statewide election in Wisconsin, and both sides know it. So both sides do everything they possibly can do. And it's an uphill battle every time, but we've won 11 out of the last 12 statewide elections for the Democrats in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin always reminds me of a baby you put up on the couch and you wait to see which way it's going to fall over, because you never know.
Fascinatingly, the Republicans also had no idea. You could see in the state legislative races, there were a bunch of races where the polling showed the Democrat way ahead, and we saw Republicans pull money from those races to focus on other races the polls said were tied. We actually kept investing in some of those races, and we wound up winning them by a tiny, tiny margin. One of the assembly seats we won by 89 votes. In the state assembly, one race, if Republicans had gotten 590 more votes, they would have a supermajority in the state Senate now. But they pulled out of those races and focused on other races instead that Republicans won by big margins. So both sides had the polling wrong. The takeaway for us is to go into the election paranoid that everything can go wrong and prepare for the worst case scenario while fighting for the best.